I'm Robin Gibson, and this is the Harvard House Money Morsel. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the bell to receive a notification when we release a new video. I've got Willie Pelser back in the hot seat today. Hello, Willie.
Morning, Robin.
So, Willie, in the last 48 hours, the Rand has sort of quite aggressively moved from sort of the low 18s to right up. I don't know if we've gone over the 19 today, have we?
No,
just staying under. But simultaneous with that, the bond market yields has also spiked out along with that. And that's kind of contrary to what other emerging markets in the same space is doing. So I'm guessing it's a purely South African thing, but can you color in and give us some sort of insight as to why and what's happening, please?
100%, Robin. I think when the Rand and bonds move like this, we sit like this and say, okay, who said what type of thing, because there's no warning when this happens. So, and as you say, it's different relative to other emerging markets. So the one concern, and we're going to harp on this topic for another 2 years, is load shedding. So the load shedding impact is actually what triggered this. The Reserve Bank did make comments 2 days ago in the sense of the forecast or the assumptions around the economy might be worse than most of us are thinking. And it's obviously load shedding related, but there's more sectors coming to the fore and saying, there's problems. So in some areas in the Western Cape, they are talking about not so much food shortages, but it's actually the supply of food because of the value chain or the supply chain.
Yes.
You can't get stuff to shops. You can't get stuff through the country, that type of thing, because they can't access a warehouse or so. So the principle behind a comment like that is, for the Rand and for bonds, the first assumption we make is to say, okay, but the economy, we all know it's growing at, call it 0%. But if we get a warning that it will be worse, are we now talking about negative GDP growth? Under that scenario, immediately all your calculus changes because your base changed substantially. And I think that's what triggered the combination of bonds and rands. And one can always ask who's leading who in this environment.
Yes.
Is the rand tanking first and then the bond market react, or the other way around? So I think this time around it was the bond sort of triggering it, more from a perspective of, yes, if suddenly there's a slowdown in the economy, the first calculation you do is to say, okay, but what is your debt to GDP scenario? Second calculation you do is to say, but okay, if the economy is not growing, where's my tax revenue coming from? And Mr. Kieswetter has sort of warned that our periods of bonuses from the commodity-related industry is coming to an end.
Yes.
Now, if the general industry is saying we're struggling, who's going to supply the additional revenue that we're looking for? So I think in combination, that's what triggered the event. Now, if one look at long-term graphs on the Rand and look at long-term graphs on the bond market, then we do have these spikes from time to time.
Yes.
I'm not saying it's over. Because the other thing from a bond market perspective I just quickly looked at was how much are held by foreigners.
Yes.
And it's interesting, in March 2018, foreigners held 42% of South African Rand debt.
Big number.
That's down to 22% in April. So they've already sold down a lot. So the move in this last day or so in the bond market, I think it's just pure nerves based on calculations. It's not foreign driven per se or local driven. I think it's just an outflow of expectation.
Yes.
Now one can link it sometimes on a share price. The company say we're expecting for the next 6 months to grow at X.
Yes.
Then they come out at X -1 or something like that. And suddenly the share price drops 10% or 8% or whatever.
Yes.
So this is the same scenario. We've got an expectation on government-related statistics, income, expenditure, and so on. Now it looks like it might be worse, and you get this trigger effect going through the system. So.
Sure, that's very interesting. Well, it reminds me, Willie, that I saw a great cartoon yesterday, and it was a room full of sheep sitting at trading screens. And the one guy turned to the other and said, I used to be a bull, but now I'm a bear. But really, we're just all sheep. So it looks like the sheep are following one another.
The sheep is following,
Willie, thanks so much for giving us some insight into what's happening behind. Thank you for joining us. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.